What up, YouTube? Here with a prediction video for Danny Garcia versus Jose Benavidez. That's tomorrow's main event for PBC on Showtime at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. This will be Danny Garcia's debut as super welterweight, and Jose Benavidez, I believe this is his second fight as super welterweight. He made his debut at 154 in his last fight, which ended in a draw, and that was his bounce back fight from the first L he took versus Terrence Crawford. And he looked better in the Crawford fight than in his last fight. Obviously that ended in a draw. Even in the losing effort, he got in there with one of the best current active fighters in the sport right now, undefeated current WBO welterweight champion. He made it a highly competitive fight, which a lot of fighters who face Terrence Crawford cannot do. And Benavidez, hopefully in his second fight at 154, he has adjusted well and better to that new weight and competing at 154 than he did in his last fight. And as far as Danny Garcia goes, he's been inactive for over a year and a half now. He fought Errol Spence in his last fight almost 2 years ago, and that was a decisive win for Errol Spence, and that's the current majority world welterweight champion. And Danny Garcia started his pro fight career at 140, where he won the world title and did his thing, and then he eventually moved on to 147, did his thing there as well, competed at the highest level, won the world title there as well. And I guess now that he's fought for so long at 147, now that he's had time off and now he's decided to come back to boxing, he feels, I guess, that this new weight at 154 suits his body better now than 147 does. And he's been looking good for his training camp. He's been telling the media that he feels better at that weight. But we'll see how he performs at 154 when he actually gets in the ring. Benavidez isn't, I wouldn't say a natural 154-pounder. He competed at 147 as well. He recently moved up to super welterweight, so he's fighting a relatively new super welterweight as well. It's not like he's fighting a Sebastian Fundora or Jermell Charlo, Tim Tszyu, and other top names at 154. We got to see how Danny Garcia performs versus Benavidez tomorrow to see how he fares at 154. We can't quite yet throw him in the mix along with the top dogs at 154. And as far as Benavidez goes, if he does his thing versus Danny Garcia, now that would be a huge name under his resume, and that would catapult his status through the ranks at 154. So this could be a important fight. 154 doesn't got the best mix in the sport right now. It got a undisputed champion, Jermell Charlo. He's obviously a big draw currently in the sport right now, and he's scheduled to fight Tim Tszyu, another undefeated, super welterweight, second generation boxer from Australia. He made his U.S. debut in his last fight and was successful, and now next year he gets a challenge for that undisputed title at 154. And I'd say, whoever comes out on top in this fight, I think still gotta, test themselves at 154 to, line themselves for a potential title shot. And Danny Garcia, like I said, I don't know how he's going to do at 154. Like I said, Benavidez isn't a natural super welterweight, so, this isn't the toughest test that he will face at 154, but we'll see how he looks at 154 and how he feels at 154 when he's in there with another 154-pound fighter, and how comfortable he'll look, and if he still possesses the same skills, is his rhythm gonna be the same at 154? Is he gonna be a little more heavier on his feet now that he's fighting at 154? Is his timing gonna be off? As you know, Danny Garcia's got one of the best left hooks, one of the best check left hooks in the sport for a long time now. I mean, reflexes slow down as age goes on, and that would be the same for Danny Garcia. And the more weight you put on, the less speedier you get. So these are concerns that you would have if you're in Danny Garcia's corner. And Benavidez, he's got a good work rate, good combinations. He's good at mixing up his punches, going downstairs and upstairs. And it should be a good, entertaining fight, and it's a pretty fair fight as well. And I'm favoring towards Danny Garcia to come out on top in this fight. I think he's got the better fundamentals and better technical skills. And Danny Garcia's got one of the best chins in the sport at 140. He fought Lucas Matisse, and in that fight, I know it's a long time ago, but if y'all know, y'all know. Danny Garcia, when he got in there with Lucas Matisse, a lot of people counted him out, and he looked spectacular in that win versus Lucas Matisse, a heavy puncher. But that was at 140, right? Then at 147, where he moved up 7 pounds, people thought that, oh, you're getting in there with some of the best names in the sport, and he fared well at 147 with the top dogs and the killers at 147. Won a world title, competed at the highest level, and he's older now that he's stepped up to a new weight class. But we'll see how he performs versus Benavidez. And as far as Benavidez goes, I don't know if he's adapted to 154 as well. Y'all could go check out his last fight. It ended in a draw. He didn't look the same as he did versus Terence Crawford. It looked like he didn't have the same hunger and same fierceness in that fight. But hopefully he brings it out of him this time around versus Danny Garcia, because it's a bigger name like Danny Garcia. That's a recognizable name in the sport. Former world champion, 2-divisional world champion, has fought some of the best names in the sport. And this is a win that both fighters would definitely like to add on to their record. Danny Garcia's coming back from a L versus Errol Spence, and Benavidez is coming back from a L versus Terence Crawford. And in his last fight, he drew in his last fight, so he wants to avenge for his poor performances. Like I said, I do not consider his performance versus Terence Crawford a poor one. He, out of all the opponents that Terence Crawford fought, he put up arguably one of the most toughest fights for Terence Crawford. Like I said, I'm picking Danny Garcia to win on points. I'm going with him to win via unanimous decision. Now, y'all let me know what y'all predictions is in the comments. If y'all got a video out there previewing this fight and y'all want me to check it out, I'll be more than glad to. Anyways, that does it for this video. Comment, subscribe, share, like, all that good stuff. And I'm out of here, y'all. Peace.